Hello, folks, and welcome back to Chris Wyatt Reports. This is Chris in Central Pennsylvania. You know, as a former intelligence officer and counterintelligence agent serving the U.S. Army, one of my responsibilities was to investigate those accused of espionage against the United States and also counterterrorism investigations. And it comes as no great joy that I report that we have confirmed Russia collusion. We have confirmed evidence of an American colluding with Russians against American interest. And no, it's not prostitutes and urination in hotels in Moscow. It's not Donald John Trump. Not at all. The leftist fantasies have failed to come true. Their fake impeachment failed. But we've now identified actual collusion with the Russians. None other than a senior counterintelligence officer in the FBI. An organization that's already come under a lot of scrutiny for its bizarre effort to exonerate Hillary Clinton, despite the fact that she clearly violated the Espionage Act, and its illegal efforts to get warrants on Carter Page and a host of Trump affiliates for the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court fraud that was committed on the court. But now, former senior FBI official accused of working for Russia, same Russia he investigated, Charles McGonigal, a 54-year-old former counterintelligence chief, is accused of taking $225,000 from a former Albanian intelligence worker while still working at the FBI. The FBI's former top spy hunter in New York was charged today with taking secret cash payments of more than $225,000 while overseeing highly sensitive counterintelligence cases, and also with breaking law by trying to get Russian billionaire Oleg Deripaska removed from the U.S. sanctions list. Now, McGonigal worked for 22 years, and he rose to the ranks to be one of the most important counter-espionage positions in the entire U.S. government. He retired from the FBI back in 2018, and on Monday, the 23rd of February 2023, he was indicted in federal court in Manhattan on charges of money laundering, violating U.S. sanctions, and other counts stemming from his alleged ties to Deripaska, an ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin. In his role at the FBI, he'd been tasked with investigating Deripaska, whose own indictment on sanctions violation charges were unsealed back in September. Now, after these charges were announced, FBI Director Christopher Wray said that the case showed that the FBI had done its duty. Really? Perhaps you should go check some more places where Joe's been hanging out for classified documents before you tell us about doing your duty. I quote Christopher Wray, "The way we maintain the trust and confidence in the American people is through our work, showing when all the facts come out that we stuck to the process and we treated everyone equally, even when it is one of our own. We hold ourselves to the highest standard, and our focus will remain on our mission and on doing the right thing in the right way every time." Well, that's all fine and dandy, Christopher Wray, and I won't blame you. You were not at the FBI during the time that he served 22 years committing espionage against this country and colluding with foreign agents. But this appears to be the most damaging counterintelligence case with the FBI since Robert Hanssen was revealed to be a lifelong criminal and betrayer of this nation. 78-year-old Robert Hanssen serving 15 consecutive life sentences in prison, Supermax, where he'll never get out of. Is that a fate that awaits Charles McGonigal? Well, if he's convicted of these charges, very likely. The FBI is going through a series of issues right now, not the least of which is the trust by the American people. But before we hold the FBI up as a great institution that's achieved amazing things, which it has, it's also always had a sullied reputation from the days when it was first founded, going back to its original director, J. Edgar Hoover, and some of the shenanigans taking place there. The FBI's abuses of American citizens with violations of the Constitution and Civil Rights Act back in the 1960s and 70s, before these things were exposed in the Church Committee. Yeah, the FBI, the same FBI that illegitimately had a director stand out and say that Hillary Clinton is not guilty of the Espionage Act. No reasonable prosecutor would take this case on. Well, that's a lie. Any reasonable prosecutor would have prosecuted Hillary Clinton, were she not Hillary Clinton and a former presidential candidate. But the rules have been broken. We've seen that the FBI can be used for political purposes, not used to go after Hillary Clinton to shield a leftist, yet going after a former president of the United States with no legitimate basis whatsoever, a president who, by all accounts from the archives and the FBI itself, had been cooperating with federal authorities and turned over boxes of documents which they claim belong to the government. Yet, when it comes time to go after a sitting president, who's left documents everywhere, including from his time as a senator, he's left more documents than Alice in Wonderland leaving breadcrumbs behind trying to find her way back out of the rabbit hole. It's absolutely crazy here, folks. The FBI, the latest case, a 54-year-old counterintelligence chief from New York, arrested on charges by taking bribes from an Albanian intelligence official and trying to get a Russian oligarch off the sanctions list. Both of these are serious violations. Why does someone do this, betray their country? And by the way, did he do it before? Is there more to this investigation we haven't heard? I mean, people don't just suddenly one day normally decide to do this, unless it's an ideological thing and they feel that ideology has driven them. So does he have a long history? Is he like Johnny Walker in the Navy? Decades-long espionage career? It's amazing how many people sell out this country, the greatest country in the world. These are vile human beings who deserve no pity and no remorse. If he in fact is guilty, which it would seem the FBI has a strong case against Charles McGonigal, he should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law and suffer the full consequences of it. Betrayal is never acceptable when it comes to the Constitution. Folks, we have confirmation of collusion with the Russians, and it's not Donald John Trump. It's a former FBI agent. Despite Christopher Wray's protestations to the contrary, claiming that now the people will trust the FBI, many of us are very leery of the Federal Bureau of Incompetence, which is what it's been for the past 6, 8, 10 years, showing once again that the FBI has been weaponized as a political weapon against opponents of those in power. And when I say those in power, I'm not talking about in the White House. I'm talking about those in power in the bureaucracy who choose to use their offices to harass and demonize law-abiding American citizens. Hey, folks, if you're not a follower or a subscriber, why don't you come on, hit that button right down there and join us. And again, Russian collusion, not Donald Trump, but an FBI agent. Take care, folks.